Character cards and miscellaneous cards. Character cards, gear brands, the Octarian Army, the Samanids, and the game modes are all wild cards of the game and play by their own rules. These mix up in offense, defense, and support in their own ways. For example, Samanoid cards like Shaman Cohawks can play offensive and support by farming cards easily, and even pairing the infamous Tenta missiles with a Swift Force card just right pairs up one special point for your deck. Whichever character is your favorite may be OP, but nonetheless some more viable, while others not so much. Don't forget that certain character cards can lose fights during mid-game about 75% against other lower cards, so play them right. Number 85, Sheldon. This horseshoe crab is okay, but specializes in defense and probably good in offense. If you really want to get something done right, you gotta do that card yourself. Turn 4 through 8 would definitely do better, but it's alright. Let's just say it's alright. This one gets a C tier for defense. Number 86, Gnarly Eddie. Playing him on the first turn can get you started very easily. Because of this, placing it on your base next to a wall, then adding Tentatech, Burst Bomb, and Sprinkler in sort of that particular order, you'll have enough special points to go for an epic comeback. This gets an S tier for greater special farming. Number 87, Joe Lafleur. This card isn't that well, to be honest, but paired with the Sprinkler card, it's alright, and to be honest, there are way better cards than Joe Lafleur. This belongs in the C tier, but still okay. Number 88, Mr. Coco. Seems legit, and most considered to be the heavyweight of almost any deck. Costing 5 special points is fair, but placing it down normally is way better in my opinion. Naturally, this gets an A tier spot on my list. Number 89, Harmony. A very decent card to use. It can get risky when you play this on lakefront property during mid-game, but nonetheless. Even if it loses most fights against other lower number cards, it could still make a path better than you when reading a book about it. A tier. Number 90, Merch. This card seems to be a bit better than the Wavebreaker card, and at least it rotates around it, yet instead of attacking, place this either defense or for farming, and as long as you compare it with that Wavebreaker card. But mostly a defense, and maybe make it a path. Pretty good at making openings for yourself, B tier. Number 91, Mr. Grizz. Pretty much alright to start off, but pairing this with an Equine for farming could kinda make a difference to say the least. It may not be hair-raising, but boy, it's unbearable to even up against this card when attacking. A tier. Let's not also forget those bear-related puns I made. You better believe that we are close to 150. Okay, I'll stop for reals, I'm sorry. Number 92, Marigold. More commonly known as Staff, and her card placement is just Joe Lafleur, but slightly different and bigger. This deserves to be on the attacking and defending side of the deck, as it came with your starter deck. You'll have to understand that you're obligated to using it mid-game and maybe near the beginning of your turn. When it's played in battle, it's still alright if you want to get started on the cards like that you can use. Great beginner heavyweight card, best in A tier. Number 93, Small Fight. Exactly like the Splat Bomb, but one different spot. One of, if not the best small cards you can have in your deck, this little fella is a powerhouse of all cards in its own class. Using it just like how you use your Splat Bomb card, it has a ton of potential to use. No doubt you can't get rid of it. S tier, highly recommended. Number 94, Cuttlefish. An alright card to be honest, but only good in 2 to 5 turns. Most likely for defense, and okay for farming special points. It's also a good path maker that you'll have to know about to get good with this. It says in the B tier category. Number 95, Captain. It's an alright card, specializes in Double Gemini, but okay in X marks the Garden. As for the rest of the maps other than box seats, a really great card in the beginning of the game, usually around 2 through 3 turns. Combine this with another diagonal card, and you'll be booyahing once per battle. A tier. Numbers 96 and 97, Callie and Marie. Okay, I'm gonna pair 2 cards in one entry because 1, they're both the same but flip differently to each other, and 2, they both have the same exact special point cost for a special attack. So naturally, if you really put both of these cards together in 2 turns, not only you'll get their special points, but it's also kinda looking pretty badass though. Both of these cards get the S tier as these idols are like the rare holo Charizards of the game. Pretty much not powerful, but really cool when both paired together. Number 98, Shiver. This card is one of the best cards to use, and to be fair, this card is amazing. Because of what it sort of looks like, my guess is that this one resembles a skull. But jokes aside, it's a great horizontal card to use endgame. S tier. Number 99, Fry. Similar to Shiver's card, it's like that but upside down. Usually better if you play its card normally in vertical. Don't get me started on this card's special attack. It just one-shots you at the end, giving you some turf for the win. Another card to be in S tier. Number 100, Big Man. This card is literally my personal favorite. If you're a Big Man fan like yours truly, then this card is 1000% viable. Why? Because using it toward its endgame, even on some diagonal spots to use, you'll literally send those rivals packing and praying for mercy. Only rule to follow? Save those special points. If you can't save it under a few turns before endgame, you just won over. But if it seems risky, sacrifice it. 1000% recommended as your heavyweight card, so S tier. Number 101, Judd. Judd is an A-OK card like the others before him. Like some weapons, place him on a wall and it will be needing a Sprinkler or a Tent Attack card for one special. Either way, it could still pull it off, but don't use it when you clash with another card that's closer to a number that's lower. It'll almost lose every fight imaginable. A tier for farming and blocking most heavyweights. Number 102, Little Judd. As the small version of Judd, the Little Judd card may be cute, but is basically a squared balance card to use in almost any situation. Make sure you plan things ahead with this card, as he has 3 special costs to use its special attack, and pretty OP tough to handle. A tier for balancing purposes. Number 103, Squid Force. Now with most gear brands, they have their ups and downs. For Squid Force, it is alright and almost viable in any other way. Its card looks to be A+ with an added special space on either corner you rotate it at, and honestly, putting it in any corner that fits really guarantees you a special point covered up. This gets an A tier for effort. Number 104, Zing. Now where to begin on why this heavyweight card kinda sucks? Maybe to start it off, its placement could have been smaller just right. But overall, this may be a bad heavyweight card for defense. D tier. Number 105, Crackon. If Brochar hates this card, then fuck it. It's Power Clam, but XL. You could place it normally as per usual, but I prefer playing it on walls where its special point is closer, so that you can grind a bit more easy. Good card. Let it stay on B tier. Number 106, Rock'n'Roll. For farming like all the other cards, the Sprinkler is your best option towards having 2 special points in one turn. But for attacking purposes, it's alright, but try putting it on some certain maps, like X marks the garden for some mid-tier-like results. Pretty good card, so B tier. Number 107, Zeko. Okay, why does this card become so bad? Pause right now and tell me why you think Zeko card is bad. Is it the placement? The role of it? The looks of this art card? Your guess is as good as mine, but it's the special points, because not only it's higher than the special weapon cards, but it's sort of a rip-off to justify it. It sucks, so remove it. Again, F tier. Number 108, Forge. One of the best cards to use, but only on Double Gemini. Basically, it wasn't the worst of all, but it's at least an alright diagonal card to use. A tier. Number 109, Firefin. This card is just bad, but not really that bad, because this card can be a good defense card in mid-game, but if it can't fit into some small spaces around it, then it's a no-go for it to use. C tier. Number 110, Scallop. To make this a bit short, this heavyweight card is mid-tier towards the endgame, and still, it is okay playing it in the last few turns. Not to mention, it's just not bad. Give this one a C tier. Number 111, Splash Mop. Splash Mop card is fairly alright, but however, giving it the fact that it's pretty better, but it prefers to stick to walls clearly. Very decent C tier. Number 112, Inkline. Good farming and good defensive card to use. Put it on a wall and add one any card that fits. For example, curling bomb, steelhead, sprinkler, etc. And you're all set. Just note that its special attack is okay to say the least. Give it an A tier, and that's it. Number 113, Tentatak. Like Sprinkler, but -1 space. This card is totally handy and awesome because it fits in most desirable places, and just like Sprinkler, Splat Bomb, Small Fry, and every other card that takes 1 special point for its attack, it's truly viable to place down and can save you from your opponent's farming. S tier for this card. Number 114, Takaraka. Similar to Cuttlefish, but a bit lower, and also Flyfish for its size. Its special space isn't in the middle, at least, but plays a bit decent. Still gonna give it the same reason as it is. Put it on B tier. Number 115, Anaki. Now this one looks alright. Similar to the Mr. Coco card, this card, as mentioned in the last one, has a similar shape, yet this one prefers offense over defense, much to comparing both of these cards. Just like Mr. Coco, this stays on A tier. Number 116, Enperry. Now, this card may look shit, but it's still good. Might be a good card because of how it's used for blocking lines from its opponents. Good defense card, C tier. Number 117, Tony Kensa. A card like Flutter, but smaller. It's usually better as long as any or both Splatanas are part of your deck for farming and offense. Good card to have, but rarely better in B tier. Number 118, Barazushi. A small version of the Tri-Stringer card. This card is that it's a good farming card, and yet it barely lacks the offense it needs as much as its cousin weapon, so naturally, it deserves B tier. Number 119, Embers. A small version of the Crab Tank card, but more diagonally. This card is only good in Double Gemini, but okay in other maps. Like a Sprinkler with 6 extra spaces, this wannabe isn't that great. Just don't play this if you're on Main Street. Otherwise, it gets a bit confusing during mid-game. Trust me, let it flop in F tier. Number 120, Octo Trooper. This standard card is alright and better than most cards to use. Not that great to say the least, but its role being an attacker gets the job done right. B tier. Number 121, Shielded Octo Trooper. Same card as the last one, but beefier. Nothing much to say about it, but it still looks good and overall not bad. Same tier, B tier. Number 122, Twinticle Octo Trooper. Now, unlike the other 2 cards I've covered, this one prefers to go straight to its opponent's cards and doesn't care about it. Playing this right sounds interesting and still good. A tier. Number 123, Octo Popper. Only thing to say, card sucks. But my reason is because, while it is good similarly to the Splatana Wiper / Stamper, it isn't good enough to even keep up with a .96 Gal card or a Splattershot Pro card at all. Give it some slack at least, just let it stay in D tier. Number 124, Octocopter. This card is a tiny buffed Sprinkler, but okay. If the middle part of a Sprinkler card isn't right, then this can really take the cake and such. Unlike the Sprinkler, it however takes 2 special points for a special attack for this card to use, so it may be an upgrade. But take your pick, A tier. Number 125, Octo Bomber. A heavyweight that's decent, Octo Bomber would be on par like a Booyah Bomb, but would mostly lose fights mid-game. Mid-level card that's easy to use, C tier. Number 126, Octo Disco. It prefers to be better in the mid-game and also goes full support over defense because, face it, not only does it lose fights against some cards, they'll just waltz right into your base whatever they have chosen. D tier. Number 127, Octopod. A small card and almost better than other sub-weapon cards, it's a perfect filler for most other cards to use. You could say it's the kind of small Splatana card if you want to go the distance by using it for farming, but hey, it takes 1 special point to grind that card. Almost better than expected. S tier. Number 128, Oversized Octopod. Unlike its small minion, it's just a beacon card, but plays worse. Unless you want to protect your base with this, good luck playing that in River Point, as it's not viable for me to work with. Instant remove. Shit tier. Number 129, Tentacook. A card that combines an O-Tetramino and a Splat Bomb card -1 special space from that shape. It's an okay card to play and kinda annoying to even fight it. You might as well have it for full support. C tier. Number 130, Octo Sniper. This offense card is an okay card, but most likely because of the corners it's perfected to be on. Really good card. B tier. Number 131, Octo Commander. Octo Sniper, but upgraded. It stays true to the original, but maybe pairing it with a Steelhead card would change the tide of battle. Good on most maps, so same tier rank, B tier. Number 132, Octo Missile. Another Pentomino, but shorter than a Splat Charger. Like Splat Charger, it sneaks up on the other side of the map, and technically, if you could pull that off, it'll still work the same. Same rank as a Charger, so A tier. Number 133, Octo Zeppelin. Decent heavyweight, but not alright. Better on certain maps and okay for some other good maps to play on. As long as you can play this mid-game, it'll be good for you. C tier. Number 134, Squeegee. I would give this one a C tier because 1, it's adorable, and 2, decent supporter card. Enough said. Number 135, Octo Stamp. An alright supporter card though. Really want to recommend it as it's kinda like the Triple Ink Strike card, minus 2 of the other 4 squared spaces connected to it. It's not like a Small Fry or a Splat Bomb card, but hey, give it a shot with this supporter card and it will be alright. A tier. Number 136, Amped Octo Stamp. This card is good in Double Gemini, like other diagonal cards, but shit everywhere else. D tier. I said my piece, and I have spoken. Number 137, Flutter. This heavyweight card is an alright one if you pair it with a Splatana card at least. This card is your best one from the starter pack, and call it decent, but I prefer to let it be a balanced heavyweight. Can't hate it at least, but give it a C tier spot instead. Number 138, Octo Baller. Booyah Bomb, but added one more spot and a special space as well. If you want to replace it with a Booyah Bomb, be my guest, but maybe I would say the least meh. Give it an A tier. Number 139, Octoling. Not to be confused with the Octolings from Octo Expansion and beyond. This Octoling is mostly similar to Mr. Coco, Cuttlefish, and even a Beacon card. Don't get me wrong, it still fights good, just not good at all. C tier. Number 140, DJ Octavio. This card, when playing it, is by far the most difficult card to even master. I recommend using it after you have played Shiver, Fry, and or Big Man once, as it's a heavyweight out of almost all heavyweights. Also, here's a fun fact. I should have talked about it earlier, but these 4 all share first place as the highest numbered card in the entire game, as well as the highest special cost tied next to Captain. But it's one-off, meaning the Captain card has 16 instead of 17. Take a pick on who's your favorite out of these 4 with an asterisk because of the Captain. But my heart belongs to the big man as Octavio gets second place in my book. Overall, it's stuck with all the others. S tier. Number 141, Chum. One of your standard Pentomino cards. It's what you expect it to be, but don't give up hope yet. Just don't even play it like it's Tetris. It may sound cold and cool and all, but it ain't your typical 4-piece puzzle game in the bag, so making this one standard. It can put in some almost hard-to-fit places in mid-game. Good card to pair with almost any combo as it deserves a spot in B tier. Number 142, Kohawk. Like the Chum, but this fat fish is big. Adding 4 spaces in, it may sound fine, but does a tiny bit worse if you let it fight other cards. Good card still, C tier. Number 143, Snatcher. Like Octocopter, but with a T Tetramino piece within it. Not a good card compared to the others, but okay though. C tier. Number 144, Steelhead. A great heavyweight and a great farming card at the same time, all with defense as the cherry on top. Pair with Inkline on a wall, and when you defend, it's a cakewalk, and a head start in the beginning of the game. Works well with some cards to pair with both beginning and mid-game. A tier. Number 145, Steelio. Not much good. It can still be good in walls, and not to mention, really good at playing offense and defense. To be honest, it felt good if you were to play in mid-game. B tier. Number 146, Scrapper. Widely good in blocking, but if any card that goes through it, trust me, it won't be pretty. C tier. Number 147, Stinger. Like a Splatana, but very, very long. Really recommended it as long as there's no other card blocking your way, as small pieces are its only weakness. Just keep cool and play it safe because it sits in A tier. Number 148, Maz. Here comes the hungry fish. Actually, scratch that. Here's why he kinda sucks. most notably not that good for heavyweight, all because if any card beats it and places it in the middle, it can leave some openings to the opponent. At least it pairs well on a wall and an Octostat card. Without it, instant D tier. But I want to say C tier at least, so take your pick, D or C tier. Number 149, Drizzler. I have so many things wrong about it, but just literally I hate it. This card is a bit similar to Mr. Coco, but smaller, and seriously, it ain't a good card to play either. Why talk about it when it plays trash? Well, at least it ain't that bad, so D tier. Number 150, Flyfish. This mofo mosquito though, let me tell you. Very good combo to a slamming lid, as well as some other cards that can fit corners like a small fry or a splat bomb. Better card to play, A tier. Number 151, Fish Stick. It's certainly a longer and lanky version of the Octocopter, but it does better defense and support than Octocopter's own defense and support. Kinda recommend it, but go with this one if you're feeling risky about it. As long as it's long, it should be longer than a B tier. Number 152, Flipper Flopper. Similar to the Reef Slider card, it's not as bad as it looks, but in gameplay wise, not so much. Still alright, but in C tier standards. Number 153, Slammin'. Already a good card when combined with a Flyfish, Takaraka, or any other card similar to it, but okay as a standalone. Likely better to have it if you wanted to replace it with a Curling Bomb card. Not really bad. It's a standard, longer version of that Curling Bomb card. It's still good. A tier. Number 154, Big Shot. For all you Undertale / Deltarune nerds and fans out there, your boy is alright at this. Though I want to point out that regardless of which way you would place it on, it's not really that great. It's an alright defense, but still sucks on offense. Sorry fellas, but it's on C tier. Spamton, please don't kill me on this one. Number 155, Goldie. It ain't fool's gold to me though. It's naturally a good card with a mix, as it's seemingly a jack of all trades. Maybe a middle or heavyweight, but your guess is as good as gold. B tier. Number 156, Griller. Totally a bad card. No need to talk carp about it. But if this card can be any good, it's the size it could matter more. Bit too big, D tier. Number 157, Mothership. Play it like a roller and yeah, it's amazing. While having its line in the bottom be of similarly to a splat roller, and ain't it like a dynamo at least. Normally B tier. Number 158, Mudmouth. This card is pretty good, and clearly it seems to be almost the most viable in the entire game. Good with most cards to combo up with, and surprisingly, it may be a good card worth using. A tier. Not good, but just right as natural. Number 159, Zapfish. An okay starter card if you want to say it that way. It's a bit small, but it's fine for how you want to try it out. Basically good, all because of some really neat corners you can place it during mid-game, but it's bad when you're at least in the end game. Best to not play it if you don't want to take the risk of placing it on your opponent's ink space. Decent nonetheless, C tier. Number 160, Tower Control. The tower card can be a decent card, but overall the bottom part of the tower is surprisingly big because of the appearance. This one has potential though, so give it the benefit of doubt with an A tier. Number 161, Rainmaker. Great card on certain maps, so good it passes as an okay counter to special weapons. But to make this super short and more viable, this card is B tier. Hopefully you'll understand when you use it soon. Number 162, Power Clan. Towards endgame, this card is naturally a fluke, and might be your best bet if your spots are small. Kinda love this card though, B tier. Lastly, the 2.0 updated cards, and I want to address the elephant in the room. At the time of making this script and such for this video, I have decided why not go above and beyond getting these 2.0 cards in the tier list. So for the sake of time and all, I decided to make a separate tier list between the one we had right now and the 2.0 cards in this same video tier list. So in case of another set of Tableturf cards are released, and coming from watching a card game series add new cards, We'll call them expansions. So if another update comes out, and a set of new Tableturf cards come out in another update, I'll most likely make another card expansion video to talk about these new cards and how they are viable or not in competitive Tableturf battle. Hopefully you'll like them as much as I do, so here they are. And also, a side note, if Prochara is watching this, he's welcome to make his own thoughts and feelings about most of the cards in the future. So it's a win-win. I get the video, he gets his own. So hopefully you're watching, Prochara, and good luck on yours, man. Good luck. I wish you really good luck on this one. But anyways, without further ado, here are the 2.0 cards that I'll be talking about. Number 163, Custom Splattershot Jr. Its twin really does seem to look alike, but if it's from Tetris, I would consider this to be the J-shaped Tetris piece. If you were to compare the two, they would probably be played the same way as they would surprisingly do. Yet you can pair both of them, or just flat out use them like the Vanilla Jr. as before. If it's the same feeling, it gets the same tier, so A tier. Number 164, Aerospray. Like other branded weapon cards, most of them can be considered the same as their OG counterparts, but this time they're flipped. We'll get into more of them along the way, but yet this one is a prime example, as it can be handy on the other side, but the same thoughts are applied from the original, and most likely the others, and that's also B tier. Number 165, Tentatech Splattershot. Since it can't spam Triple Ink Strike like its primordial cousin, and it's Kit the Wasabi Splattershot from the first game, you'll never need to worry because apparently it's better enough as it is. It can get tricky if any other card can counter it, but nonetheless really amazing. This one can be competitive unlike the regular one, so this gets an A tier spot instead, but only for competitive play. Number 146, Forge Splattershot Pro. Forge Pro is a nightmare to deal with thanks to its Booyah Bomb from the Kensa Pro, but in Tableturf battle, it's kinda janky for it to play. To be fair, it can be a good defender card and more commonly in the balance of winning against heavyweight cards in battle. Not to mention, it's alright for making a path to your enemy base, so try it out. Yet, still giving this one an A tier. Number 167, Splattershot Nova. Considering that it has the same vibe as most 10 ink space cards, it's considered the heavyweight of the Splattershot family. While it won't technically win in a clash pageant against other cards, it can be alright in certain areas that cover the center mid-game. S tier, pretty good. Number 168, Lunar Blaster Neo. Lunar Neo could be much like Sirius, but however, this barely does well in certain turfing other than some fights. I would recommend using it in River Point, but it would be hard to even compare both the regular and Neo together to say the least. C tier card unless you can find another card to pair better with other than the OG one. Number 169, Carbon Roller Deco. Mirrored to be keeping up with the OG Carbon Roller, this roller can be better than its mirror twin, and because of it, it relies more on defense rather than offense. This one gets a B tier. Number 170, Big Squig Roller. Like the Splat Roller, it's a balance of offense, defense, and support in many maps, but however, it's widened enough to 6 spaces to really do good against a Splatana Stamper, but at the cost of less of the bottom. So by now, if you want to be wide similar to the Dynamo Roller, then this is for you, as it would be in S tier. Number 171, Inkbrush Nouveau. You could say it could be the same card, but only the square part of it has changed. Just like comparing the two between Splat Bomb and Small Fry, this one can be your go-to instead of the original, if you don't like the OG at least. C tier. Number 172, Snipe Rider 5H. Most charges are always sufficient in longer range in ink spaces. This barely does worse than the Splat Charger and Splatter Scope combined. While it may sound good to put in Main Street and Lakefront property, you would consider it to be the poor man's version of an actual splatter scope in general in any other map. Almost worse, but it could be better. D tier. Number 173, Slosher Deco. Not a really bad card to kick this weapon off, although it could be said than done, as it probs works in spots that are diagonal and such. I would give it the same reason from the OG Slosher as well, since it's widely similar, but for the sake of it, this gets C tier. Number 174, Zinc Mini Splatling. The card that may be better than its original, because playing this in mid-game could look amazing and fairly alright. Instead of a 3 ink space line on the right, it's mirrored to the left, and that's why it would look sort of cool. If it was C tier, I would change it straight to B tier. And number 175, Dapple Dooley's Nouveau. Not really good, all because it's the same, but with one different spot missing that the other, and having a card like that would be good if it's played mid-game. Sure, it could be help with farming on special spaces, but the vast majority of this card's purpose has to be the placement appearance in the cards. Not much to talk about it, even more so A tier. And that's every single card in Tableturf Battle. Well, as of the time of this video. What I'm showing you right now is a tier list of all the Tableturf cards, and also one for the 2.0 cards, as it's separate from the other cards, and I wanted to do something new with it. As of the 2.0 update, those cards are what you expect. Hate them or love them. This card game has given me a ton of Pokemon TCG vibes as a kid, and playing these gets my competitive 16-year-old me hungry for that game. Overall, the cards I've mentioned and talked about are really good, and I hope this game gets an IRL version so that we can play this game even more. I also want to point out that Pro Chart, if you're actually truly watching this right now and have gotten through all of this, I have a challenge for you. What do you think about these cards in Tableturf Battle Online? But keep in mind that this video is from my own perspective of how I liked and hated these cards in Tableturf Battle, so don't hate me because I said that a card is bad. If it's good for you, I wouldn't mind at all. If you have anything to say about this and want to add more thoughts about it, be sure to write it in the comments down below. And also subscribe so I can make more of these in the future. As always, this is KaiKai3212 signing off.